Hi guys, Mike back again, and today we're going to be mixing our own e-liquid. We'll need some of this nicotine solution, Flavour Concentrate, a measuring cylinder, a measuring jug, some vegetable glycerin or VG, and I'm also going to be using an app from Android, and it's called Vape Tool. And I'll see you down at the table and we'll go through all this. So before we get down to the actual table and start mixing, we're going to go into our Vape Tool app that I've got on Android. You could probably use a similar one on the iPhone. We then select our nicotine strength, which in my case is 72 milligrams. We then put our target amount of e-liquid, which is 600 millilitres, and I want it at 3 milligrams per milliliter. We then select our VG to propylene glycol ratio, and I want 80% VG, 20% PG. You can then add a name of your flavour into the actual app here. And of course, all e-liquid comes in three main constituents. You have your nicotine solution, you have vegetable glycerin, you also have propylene glycol. The glycerin is what gives you your cloud, and the propylene glycol is what gives you your throat hit. So in my case, I'm not really all for much throat hit, but I do like clouds, so I'm going to go for an 80% VG mix in this case. So back to the app now, and I'm just going to name this particular recipe, strawberry and cream 3 milligrams. When I go down to the table, I'll actually be using raspberry ripple, because that's my favourite e-liquid, but just for the purpose of this example we'll be using strawberry and cream. And then you're presented with your actual recipe and the amounts for each particular constituent. And we have 25 millilitres of nicotine solution base, 455 millilitres of VG, 120 glycol, which is basically our flavour concentrate in this instance because it's PG based, and that gives you your 600 millilitres total bottle size. Right, so down at the table guys, we have our nicotine solution, 72 milligrams pharmaceutical grade, bought from Dark Star Vapors in the UK. I actually purchased 8 bottles of this stuff, roughly 4 litres, and it's sitting at the bottom of my freezer at the moment waiting for a rainy day, because I purchased a big ton of it when I knew that the TBD ruling came in May 2016, which meant you shouldn't have been able to buy it after that date in any bottle more than 10 millilitres. It turns out that you still can buy it in some places, but that's another story. So we'll put our 25 millilitres in there first, and then you can add that to your empty bottle, which in this case is roughly holds about 600 millilitres. So there we go, we pour it in. You can see it's really thick because this actual nicotine solution is actually vegetable glycerin based. You can get PG based glycerin, which is a thinner consistency, but I opted for the VG because I like to get my liquids as VG based as possible, so that's what I opted for. Right, so next up is our Flavour Concentrate, and this is a raspberry ripple flavour bought from Macadam's Confectionery from eBay. Right, we know from our app calculation that we need 120 millilitres of Flavour Concentrate. I already know that we've got 120 millilitres in this particular bottle because I used exactly half in my last mix, and these bottles were 240 millilitres each. So we pour that in there and it comes out really easily because it's that propylene glycol is such a thinner consistency, like I said earlier. Obviously you'd be using your measuring cylinder to make sure you get exactly the correct measurement into that bottle. Right, so next up is our main component, which is the vegetable glycerin, and we need approximately 450 millilitres. But basically I'll just be filling up this bottle because I know full well that it holds 600 millilitres, so I'll just pour it on in there and just fill up my empty bottle with glycerin. You can just see, look at that texture, the consistency there. It's just lovely and thick. It's not very nice though when it gets over your hand, so just keep a couple of paper towels handy, guys. So pour it all in there, fill it right to the top. Right, so that's it. To the top, clean up, and there's your finished article. Obviously you can see the differences in consistency there, just showing this angle here. Really thick glycerin and much thinner glycol. So basically you need to combine those together. The best way I find is to give it a damn good shake up. So that's what we're going to do now. So give it a good shake for at least 5 minutes and then you're good to go. You can basically vape on a fruit juice straight away, guys, no dramas at all. You can also let it steep in your cupboard for about a week or two and it might ripen up the flavour a tad, so the choice is yours, but basically that's one way of saving a damn lot of money. So there you go, Raspberry Ripple e-liquid, freshly made by yourself, and I'll give it a good old vape in a minute and see you up top. So we're back up top, guys, just done our little mix of the Raspberry Ripple juice there. Looks very nice indeed. As it's a fruit-based vape, you can really just vape on it straight away. There's no real steeping time necessary. But I found if you do leave it for a week or two, it does sort of ripen up the flavours very nicely indeed. In fact, I've got a banana and custard one that's been there for about 2 months, because when I first got it I wasn't very impressed with the banana flavour. It tasted too synthetic, very much like a banana sweet, and I wasn't very partial to that, so that's still steeping now and I might give it another go in about 2 weeks time. But I have smelt it and it does smell a lot more inviting, so I'll give that a go in a couple of weeks and let you all know. Anyway, let's have a vape on this. Here's a little one I made earlier, so let's have a go. Very nice indeed. Using the old Springer S, the RTA I reviewed the other day, still loving it. 36 watts. Batteries last all day and more with this Tesla Y. Lovely little mod. So there you go, 600 milliliter bottle. Not sure how much it cost. I think it's probably less than a tenner, to tell the truth. I'll write it in the description later if I do work it out. But if you use that Vape Tool app that I showed you earlier, you can put in like the cost of all your ingredients into the actual tool, and it will work out the actual price for the size of the bottle you're actually doing. So we'll wrap it up there anyway, and it's very good to see you all again, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.